Hey guys, so I'm finally doing a video. I know it has been so long, but honestly, the holidays, of course, are crazy, as you all know. And then with this new house, I still haven't found a spot that I like for doing my videos. I think I'm gonna keep up with this setup, at least for now, because it's really easy to set up my tripod here. And anyways, y'all don't care about this. Let's get into my December wrap up. Looking at my list of books that I read in December, it's just kind of crazy because I feel like I read these books so long ago, but I did read a total of 5 books. So the first book that I finished was The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. And this is an adult fantasy novel that I had heard great things about from someone I work with, and then also from Reagan from Peru's Project. So I thought I would have to check it out. I was really in a fantasy mood, so this was just absolutely perfect. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This book has a really great magical type of world where magic is based off of colors, and colors have certain strengths, and certain people can cast certain colors and it gives them certain abilities. It's a really cool concept for a magical type of world, and I've been really enjoying it. Of course, there's going to be like strife within this kingdom, and there's just a lot going on, but it's really good, and it's a series, so I will for sure be finishing with the rest of the series, but I thought this was a really good start to it. Next, I read Tell Me 3 Things. I forget who this is by, which is sad because I actually really liked this book. So I read this book, I had it on hold and overdrive for a while, and then I talked about Alex approximately, and I got a comment that Tell Me 3 Things was a better You've Got Mail version of like a book, and so I thought this is perfect. The book had just come in for me on overdrive, so I picked it up, started reading it, and it was amazing. I loved it. I think I gave it 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars, but it was just a really good contemporary You've Got Mail-esque type of story, but I just felt like it was really authentic. And this girl, she moves to California with her dad, who has just been remarried. She lost her mother a couple years ago, and she's still grieving the loss of her mother. She's in high school, and it's still just hard. And I could tell that there was an authenticity to this book that I didn't feel with Alex approximately. Our main character talked about losing her mother. I knew for sure that the author had gone through something similar, and sure enough, when I read the end of the book about the author, she does talk about losing her mother. And so it rang so true, and you can tell when a book has real feeling to it, and this one I felt real to me, and it was because the author actually was talking more from her experiences too. So I really appreciated the genuineness of this story. I thought it was also just really cute and a really good, easy story. I would definitely recommend it. Next, I read Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and I finished reading this in the illustrated version because I did get the illustrated. I'm going to be having an end of the year book haul, so I'll show all of that there, but I loved reading it illustrated. The only downside to reading it illustrated is that it's really hard to take around with you and carry. You kind of have to be like at a table or something because the books are heavy, and it's hard to just kind of like find a position to hold the books in and read them. Other than that, of course, the illustrateds were so magical. It was really fun reading Harry Potter in a different way because I've only ever read like my set of regular books. I've never even really listened to the audiobook except for the first one. So reading Harry Potter in a different format was just such a joy, and the pictures are so beautiful. I am just so happy that I finally got the illustrated. Next, I read Cruel Beauty. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and honestly, I did not like it. I listened to this on audio, and I think I gave it around 2 stars. And this is a book that it's hard to pinpoint why I didn't like it. I just wasn't interested in this story. So this is about a Beauty and the Beast retelling, kind of vaguely. So she's the daughter of this man who's pretty much bargained away one of his daughters, and so she's always been the daughter that would eventually be married to the beast who lives in this castle, and he makes horrible bargains and this horrible person, and he lets out these demons, and it's just a bad thing. So she's been brought up to know that she's been the one who's going to marry him, and she's supposed to be the one to end his life and somehow stop this curse that's been set over their whole land. And that's kind of her goal, to marry this beast and then to kill him and get rid of their curse. But I don't know, it felt weird to me. I wish someone else who'd read this can talk about it with me and maybe relate to my feelings, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is I didn't like about it. But I wasn't interested in this book all too much to start with, and then it just felt kind of weird. I don't know, it didn't click with me. It wasn't the fantasy Beauty and the Beast retelling for me. If you are going to read a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I would recommend Hunted by Megan Spooner. And the final book that I read in the month of December in 2017 is honestly one of my favorite books of the whole year, and that book is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. Anyway, this book is incredible. It's a memoir of a 36-year-old neurosurgeon who gets the diagnosis of terminal lung cancer. And it's him processing this diagnosis. It's his life as he became a neurosurgeon, and he is actually in his final year of residency when he gets this diagnosis. It's why he chose to go into the field of neurosurgery, and he writes so well. His whole life goal was to spend the first, I forget how many years he decided, as a doctor, and then the last few years as a writer. So he really blends his philosophy and medicine really well. And this is his perspective with this diagnosis, him coming to terms with death and what it means, and how he's treated patients before who have been in similar situations, and now he has his personal experience. Anyway, it's just so beautiful. Like, I can't even recommend this book more. Anyone in the medical field at all, pick this book up. I work in oncology, and this book, I felt like I shouldn't read this because maybe this hits too close to home with what I deal with, you know, on an everyday basis. You want to separate your work and your personal life, and that's my reading time. But I'm so glad I read this. I didn't think that I was going to cry because it's not a sad story despite what it sounds like. But when I got to that final page, it was just like so many emotions, because you walked through this whole story with this man, and then you finally get to the end, and it's just heartbreaking. I will be talking about it in my best of 2017, so you'll be hearing about it again. But that wraps up my December month of reading. Let me know what you read in the month of December. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.